What is up, super beautiful people of the internet? My name is Amethyst. Welcome to my corner, and today we're gonna declutter over 400 items in one day. So yeah, I wanted to do the 30-day minimalism challenge, which is basically on day 1 you get rid of 1 item, and on day 2 you get rid of 2 items, and on day 3 you get rid of 3 items, and eventually you end up with a lot of items out of your house. And I loved the idea of doing that, but fun fact about me is I've actually done this challenge, or rather I've started this challenge 4 times. So yeah, I wasn't about to do the whole 1 a day thing anymore. I got home one day after work, looked around me, and felt like I was so unbelievably overwhelmed that I just needed to do it immediately. All of it. And I decided that day that the next day I was gonna get rid of 460 something items. So in today's video, we're gonna go over what kind of challenges I faced, what this looked like, why my ADHD had a play in this challenge, and how even if you have ADHD or you struggle to stick to things, then you can still do this challenge effectively and feel really, really good about yourself afterwards. And we're gonna talk about why I feel so good about myself now after having done this challenge, when I have done so many minimalism challenges in my life, and this one by far takes the cake for the most life-changing. So let's go into it. So in the past, like I said, and I was never able to stick to the challenge because I would start it and then the next day maybe I'd remember to do 2 things, and then I would literally just forget I was doing the challenge, and the notification would come up on my phone and it'd be like, oh yeah, I had to do that. Let me just, tomorrow I'll do the 3 and the 4. And then tomorrow came and it was like, I think I had to do 3, 4. I'll just do it tomorrow. And it was like just putting it off. And then eventually, like, what's the point of the challenge if I'm not actively doing it anymore? So it didn't really work out that way. But I still liked the idea of having like a numbers goal, like having 30 different 30s to like get rid of, like, you know, that seemed fun to me. That seemed like something that it was challenging enough for me to do that challenge, but obviously with my ADHD and forgetfulness I was unable to stay consistent to it. So that was where I came up with the idea of doing it all in one day instead. Basically what snapped in me was, like I said, I came home from work one day and I felt like I was drowning in things. I accumulate things very easily. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you probably know that I have a little bit of a hoarding issue. Not like it's a problem, like it genuinely was a problem for a long time. If you'd seen my old apartment, you saw how much crap I had, and it was just not appropriate for me to have that anymore. I have a lot of animals that rely on me, and having so much stuff was taking up my time to clean, especially my pet room. You know, they barely had space to move around. It wasn't a suitable area for them, and I felt really guilty as a pet mom for the way that the office always turned out, and I knew that I was never going to get progress with keeping the space clean if I didn't declutter, if I didn't really truly get rid of a ton of stuff. So that was one inspiration. And then also my husband got rid of so much of his own things in order to help me basically keep my things, and I felt really guilty about that as well, that he was so willing to get rid of so much stuff and I was sitting here struggling to get rid of a pencil. And granted, throughout the year of us being married, I had gotten rid of a ton of stuff. Like, I got rid of a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that, but it still wasn't enough, and I knew that, and I knew that eventually I'd get around to it, but this just felt like the time. This was the challenge where it hit me that if you have too many things, you can't keep it clean. Even if everything has a space, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And I have been putting that off for so long. Like, no, I can make it work. I can keep all of my stuff, and I can keep it clean, and I can find the right organization, and I can make this work. And you just can't. That's something that was really difficult for me to realize. You just can't. You can't make it work. You gotta get rid of stuff. Decluttering is the only way to keep your house clean all the time if you're someone like me. Of course, every circumstance is different, but like, I'm talking about situations like me where you have a lot of things and quite frankly, not everything has space, and you always have that one bin left over when you're cleaning of stuff that you need to find a home for, but it just never seems to find a home, and ever since you've had it, it's never had a home. You gotta get rid of stuff. That's the solution, right? So with that out of the way, let's get into basically how I started this project. So I knew I was gonna get rid of our glass cups for a while. We had gotten this really awesome set as a wedding gift, and we were very grateful to have had it, but they never got clean. Like, you could literally sit there and scrub them with a brush, and it just never seemed to get clean, and they would stain weirdly, even if you used them for just the cups were not working for us. Grateful for them, but they weren't working for us. So that one was easy. I knew I was going to get rid of them. I told him that I was going to get rid of them one day. I just needed to replace them with cups that I actually liked. And I decided that I didn't need to do that now because I had plenty of tumblers. I could always use my tumblers if I wanted a cup, right? I don't need cups and all of these Starbucks mugs. So basically, I got rid of the cups and it was really easy. That was the first, like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be a good one, because I was able to just put the cups there and be like, all right, well, I'm checking it off the list. I had this little printout here and I was keeping track. This is actually my second one because the first one, accidentally, I spilled water all over it, but I was coloring it in and I was like, huh, that was a nice little chunk. Doing this little part first, obviously this is a different color scheme than before, but like doing the first part was so motivating. I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. I could totally do this. Of course, this part right here really trips you up, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So I was like, you know, I could do this. So I did the cups, and then I did essential oils, which I had so many essential oils I did not need. And then after the essential oils, I went through every single individual drawer of my kitchen, and even the drawers that I forgot I had. Like, I literally forgot that I had this drawer in our kitchen because we just never used it because it was holding on to stuff that we just never had access to. Like, the drawer was always in chaos, and we never knew what was in it. So yeah, that was great. I got rid of so many things. It was so good. And then I went into the bathroom, which I probably decluttered my bathroom 4 or 5 times since I've moved into this house with my husband. But somehow I had the most successful decluttering I ever did before. I think when you're just randomly decluttering and like maybe you have a challenge or like a goal to meet, but something about this challenge was like, no, I mean, I have to make the number, so let me just try to get to the number as fast as possible, and then I can be done. Like, that's why I liked doing it in one day, and it ended up being more like 3 days, just because that's how my brain works. But even within those 3 days, like, I wanted to be done as soon as possible, so I could control that by getting rid of more up front. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And so I had a really nice momentum, and it did slow down at some point, but I just really went through, honestly, I asked Google, I was like, give me like a list of locations in your house to declutter, because I was struggling finding small spaces that weren't going to be way too overwhelming for me, or spaces where I knew I could probably like fill out an entire sheet for like the one closet, like our tools and utilities and medications closet. I felt like I could fill out a whole other sheet of this with just that. So I didn't bother with that closet. I went ahead and I just found small places in our house that I could get rid of things, and I just kept going. So speaking of this, I will leave this one linked down below, and I also made one myself, which has its own thing that you can color in, but also it has a long list of little small nooks and crannies in your house that you should check out and see if you can get rid of stuff, because that would have been helpful to me. So I want to give one to you guys, and it'll be just a free principle down below. But let's go over everything that I had here that I got rid of. So the first pink is going to be mail and paper. So I got rid of, let's see.
So in this trash there is well over 120 pieces of paperwork, manuals, mail, contracts, just a bunch of paperwork that I felt the need to hold on to. There's a lot of vet bills and stuff like that. I feel like counting, I mean, obviously I'm not going to count each piece of mail, but I'm thinking of doing the whole bottom 2 rows, because that's, what is that, 59 items. So I'll do the bottom row and a half, because I don't want to, you know, make it too hard on myself, and that was a lot to go through. And I'm also getting rid of the thing that was holding them in the first place, as well as all of those folders. So I'm not counting each individual folder. Actually, yeah, I'm doing the bottom 2 rows, okay? Fight me on it.
A lot of mail and paper that I had huge stacks of it, and I was able to just throw out old papers that maybe even were sentimental, but I had pictures of, or just was sentimental in a way that didn't bring up good memories. Get rid of the mementos that give you bad memories. Like, if they're giving you bad memories, but it's about someone that isn't in your life anymore, so you kind of feel weirdly sentimental, maybe you're someone like me, a little bit overly empathetic and struggle to recognize that when someone was toxic in your life, like, it was good to let go of them, just get rid of the thing. So if you have something that is giving you bad memories, you don't want that in your house. You do not. I promise you, it will be okay if you get rid of it. So yeah, that's that little thing. There was definitely some papers within that pile that felt a little bit weird to get rid of, but I feel a lot better about it now. And then I got rid of stuff in the kitchen. I just generalized it. I got rid of 55 items from the kitchen. 64 items from the bathroom. Mind-blowing to me because, again, I had gone through my bathroom so many times. And then I got rid of 29 pieces of jewelry, 84 pieces of clothing, and 20 items of intimate. So I got rid of 34 items, like 34 tool-based items like screws, nuts, tools that like literal tools, measuring tapes and all that good stuff. And then I did another go through of those items, so that's where 2.0 is tools 2.0. I got rid of another 10 items. And then towels, I got rid of 19 towels, from like hand towels to body towels that just had holes in it, were bleach stained, that I didn't need anymore. 19, that's kind of a lot. Like, it's 2 people living here. Granted, we have a lot of pets and towels are helpful for pets, but still, that's crazy. I got rid of 70 letters. This one's going to be controversial, maybe, but I did get rid of letters. I got rid of thank you notes and graduation notes and some wedding notes. If there wasn't like a heartfelt message in them and it was just the envelope, and the envelope was not something I wanted to put on my wall, then I did get rid of it. My husband and I went through them again and we were like, yep, these are ones that we can get rid of. Granted, most of those were from my graduation in 2018. Most of the notes came from people that I don't talk to anymore, or just like people who wouldn't have even remembered attending my graduation party, let alone giving me a card. So while I was really, really grateful to go back over all of the generosity that people have given me over the years, and especially at that time in my life, I also know that those people are not going to be offended if I got rid of their note, because again, they probably forgot they gave it in the first place. So letters are something that's kind of weird. If you have like tons of letters and you want to get rid of them and you're not really sure how to start because it feels wrong, maybe just scan them. If they're not like an absolutely gorgeous letter to like put on your wall, scan the letter and you'll always have it with you, so you can just reread it, like put it up in Google Docs or something like that, and then you can get rid of the physical item. And listen, y'all, I don't know a single person who would genuinely be offended by you getting rid of a regular note. Now, if it was something like the hand-stitched embroidery on the front of the envelope, maybe that's different, but we're not talking about that, are we? We all are smart enough to know which versions of notes we're talking about right now. But anyways, that is something that I would recommend trying. And then I got rid of 6 gift bags. I hold on to gift bags so that when I gift people things, I can reuse a gift bag instead of buying a new one. And there was 6 of them that I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to have a situation where I want to utilize this one. It was like, one of them was like a gaming bag, and another one was like a wine gift bag, and I'm just not a wine gifter. That's not my type of gift to give. So yeah, that is everything that I got rid of. And now a couple more notes that I wanted to mention. I think it is important to remember that this is progress, not perfection. If you don't get to every single item, just getting it started is really important. And if you're like me and you struggle again like with the accountability and stuff, just try to do as much as you can in a single day. Maybe try to make it your 30-day challenge, in the sense that you just want to fill this in 30 days. Maybe not on day 28 you get rid of 28 items, but maybe on day 5 you got rid of 28 items. So you only have like 5 days or 5 spots left on day 30 to get rid of things. You know, maybe try playing it a different way, because at the end of the day, the whole point is to make our minds clutter-free, because if our space is clutter-free, our minds are clutter-free. And I think that this was the first time in my life that I really felt that. So yeah, now I'm going to go back in time. I'm filming this way in the future, and I'm going to leave the outro that I had actually filmed initially for this video, and I'm going to let my previous self talk, because I think her emotions were a lot stronger back then, and it might be nice to hear what she has to say. So this is it from Future Amethyst. Deuces, everybody. So I'm sitting here with all the things. I've got 3 boxes here. Of course, some random decorations that I ended up getting rid of off camera, but I feel like this challenge was incredibly successful. I'm really happy with the amount of stuff I got rid of. This was definitely an interesting challenge because I have been working on my decluttering journey for the past 1.5 years. I've gotten rid of genuinely so much stuff. Like, y'all would never believe me if I showed you all the pictures and stuff. Even then you'd be like, yeah, that seems weird. Like, I had so much stuff and I've gotten rid of so much stuff and I've been doing so much better. So at the beginning I was like, I got this in the bag. And then I hit item 300, and I was like, I have to do 100 more. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I definitely had a moment where I was like, I actually don't know if I can do this, but I sure did, and then I went over. I really recommend this. Even if you think you don't have a lot of stuff, just try it. See how far you can get. Even if you don't do it for 30 days, just have the checklist to go through. It was incredibly enlightening. I really enjoyed it, and I actually think I'm going to do it again. I've already started getting rid of more things. Something about this just really broke through me just really treating my things as things and not having that attachment to them anymore. Like, I have hoarding tendencies. I've gone to therapy for my hoarding, and for like my attachment to things. So it's like an actual problem of mine. And when I tell you, like, it sounds so dramatic, but something about this challenge, just something in my brain clicked. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. So I actually think I'm going to do the challenge again and see if I can do even more. So if you're interested in that, I might just like do it in private and show you guys like freeze frames of all the things that I got rid of again, because I am so motivated right now. Like, I know this might not seem like a ton of stuff, but this is like a pretty decent haul, and this doesn't include 2 full trash bags full of things that either were like expired products, things that I couldn't donate, or things that were just like way too far gone to donate. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty good, and I'm really excited about this progress, and I'm just feeling so motivated. I really feel like you guys should try this if you are someone who struggles with hoarding or collecting, or if you just want to free up some more space in your brain that's not clutter. Like, my office isn't even cleaned, and it looks so much better because I have space in my drawers and I have space on my shelves, and my desk isn't as cluttered. Like, I'm just so excited for the future of my house after this, and just me getting rid of stuff. I don't need it. I don't need it, and you don't need it either. So try it. I really think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Again, check out down below. I'll have my printables, but thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I seriously appreciate you. If you stuck till the end of this video, leave a cardboard box emoji down below so I can give you a nice little thank you for sticking it out, because y'all are the real ones. I seriously appreciate you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me over my corner of the internet today. I hope that you have a wonderful day and an even, what do? A wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye!